Off the cuff, yeah. Off the cuff, yeah. It's off the cuff, 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 yeah. It's off the cuff, it's off the cuff, it's off the cuff, it's off the cuff, yeah.
This is God ordained. Get in position, cause we on a mission, fulfilling this vision, releasing contention, and it's God we praise. The one who keeps us from falling, receiving his faultless. Ooh, that man is awesome. You see, it's every day we celebrate. Right now it's time for us to elevate. So get your hands up, cause Hosanna's great. And see, they call it off the cuff because we tailor-made.
Off the cuff, yeah. Off the cuff, yeah.
Yeah, I brought you in this world.
What's up? Welcome to Off the Cuff, also known as OTC University.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, let me welcome those of you that listen to the show for the first time. I'm your boy Bobby. What's up? And I got my crew in the house with me. Say what's up to him, Eric.
What's up, y'all?
Lil Chad.
Good evening.
Good evening. So you already got an idea of what it's like, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now we are going to be taking some calls tonight, so for those of you who want to call in, please stay on the topic we are discussing for tonight. We'd appreciate that. If you have a question pertaining to one of our past shows, or you don't get through tonight, you can email your question to us at menoffthecuff@yahoo.com. Again, that's menoffthecuff@yahoo.com. So go ahead and grab a pen so I can give you this number to call in, Men Off the Cuff, 240-949-CUFF. Again, that's 240-949-2833. Now, you can go on and call in ahead of time if you want to and go ahead and drop that question. You know, we taking call-ins all show long. Yeah. So y'all go ahead and bring it to us.
Pick the phone up. Hey, we met somebody this weekend, didn't we?
Shabuda Jenkins. Shabuda, if you're listening, Shabuka. Shatukito.
Yeah. We ran into her.
Yeah.
She was different.
Yeah, Shabuda. And you lied, Shabuda. I told you I was going to get you, didn't I? Yeah. You'll think about it next time, won't you?
She is one of the ladies of AKA.
Yes.
We met out. It was a group of them out there. They was doing their thing out there. So we told her we was going to holler.
All loud and stuff.
You know how them AKs do.
Yeah.
You know. And they was the
I ain't know they lied, though. Shabuda lied. Shabuda ain't her real name, y'all. She told a lie. She admitted it after the fact. Talking about, we talking about John Shabuda.
We talking about it. Hey, man, did y'all see President Barack Obama, man? He was so smooth when he was talking about what happened at the when they bombed the U.S. consulate. He said, we will not waver in our commitment to see that justice is done for this terrible act. And then he paused. And then he says, make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Justice will be done. The joke was so smooth the way he said it.
He said, I got a specific skill set.
Right. It was like the dude from Taken. You know,
right.
If you ever seen the movie Taken, right? He says, I don't know who you are.
Right.
And I don't know what you want.
Right.
But if you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Right.
Skills I have acquired over a long period of time.
That's right.
Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
We're going to find you.
So he says, if you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you, and I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you.
I will find you.
Right. I will kill you.
He wasn't playing.
I was like, man, Bob was so smooth. And you know he gonna do it, right? He'll do it. He got the power to do it.
He got Bin Laden.
He got him.
Yeah.
He got the power to do it.
There's gonna be some dead folks.
Yeah.
We ain't got no president.
Yeah, some Marines gonna be shooting some people out there.
Right.
Oops, I didn't know it went off like that.
He the smoothest.
Obama says his heart don't pump no Kool-Aid.
No, it sure don't.
Here comes Chicago.
Yeah. Chicago.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's close to Cleveland, right?
No, it's close to Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
We got the
same blood. Moving on. It ain't the same blood. Move on.
Finish my statement.
Move on.
Okay. The same blood, Chicago is the same.
Y'all should see Eric's tie up in here. Go ahead.
There you go.
Why is it short? That's what I don't understand.
Because it's a style, Bobby. It's fashion.
I'm sorry.
You need to go on the contact what's going on. It's the fat The fat knot. Will somebody send it on the blog and let Bobby know about the fat tie?
Why you got a fat knot with a small?
Because it's supposed to be.
Okay, I got it.
Tell.
I'm sorry.
All right, OTC.
I'm all right
family.
with your tie, man. The fat knot on the small tie.
We going to get back to business
With no
tonight,
neck.
right? Tonight we're bringing Making Better Choices Part 2.
Part 2.
All right, so y'all need to make sure y'all go back and listen to Part 1. This Part 2
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
week we started discussing the mistakes men and women make while dating.
Men and women.
Both of them. So we're going to continue where we left
Well,
off.
let's do it.
And
Let's
we're really
do it.
going to get into this thing tonight. Are
Yeah.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let it roll. Let it roll.
Ladies, this is a huge mistake you make dating. You mistakes like the brother knows the thread count before you know his phone number. Now, how does a brother know your thread count before you even know his phone number?
Because he been on the sheets, brother. That's what I'm thinking. You got to get to the sheets to know the thread count.
Yeah. So it's amazing. And even flip it the other way. She know his thread count.
Right.
You feel me? Because
Right.
he done took her to the spot already.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she leave and she don't know the phone number.
Wow.
That's a bad situation.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
You know,
bad.
but I know
that's
some
good.
thirsty sisters out there. That's all they trying to get to. Because I got some sisters that say things like, well, if this don't work on this side, if the thread count situation is not right, then we're not moving forward.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's a crazy mistake. Because at the end of the day, all they did was got their business taken care of.
Okay.
But that didn't make that man qualified or disqualified.
Right. But some of them might just be looking for the maintenance man.
Well, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And he might just be looking for a seamstress to hook up the sheets.
Yeah, you know, and
So he can go from a 200 count to a 10,000 count.
Right.
It all makes sense.
And then they talk about
yeah.
all men are dogs then.
that's
You know
what they
I'm saying?
say.
That's what
but
they
see,
say.
they put themselves in the position
Right.
thinking that they gonna be able to make it work. You see, and then, but doesn't that mean that she don't respect herself?
That's what it means.
Don't
She
forget
respect
the
herself.
dude.
Right.
The mistake is you don't respect
You don't
yourself
respect
enough.
yourself. Put yourself out
You
there.
feel me?
Yep.
So why put yourself out there then?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense to me.
Nah.
I respect you.
You would say that.
And a lot of things play into that too. A lot of issues you got and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
You put yourself at risk, of getting, STDs and different things
Yeah.
out there. It ain't we're not living in the one shot era anymore.
That's
You
right.
can't
You're
just get a
right.
shot. You talking about death right
Yeah.
now,
And in the words of the brand Nubian, slow down.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
do it. Because I think even young people and older people think some things about that person that they want to get with. They think because they look good,
Right.
they straight.
Right.
Because they 6'4", 200 and something pounds,
Can't do
Right,
it.
right.
they straight.
Can't do
Right?
it.
Right.
Because she's 36, 24,
Oh, 36.
36. Right?
What a winning hand.
With a
She's
hand.
a brick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How?
People always think
Right.
that, right?
Right.
They think that's cool.
Right.
And they even have twisted it up to go further. Well, if we just have oral sex,
Right.
then that means I'm good too.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And
They can contract the same
Look,
thing
right.
we
that
can't
way
get
as
you
well.
to put a condom on through regular sex.
Right.
You think they putting condoms on for oral sex?
Nah.
No,
Ain't
not
doing
happening,
that.
bro.
Ain't doing that.
Not happening,
Ain't doing
bro.
that.
You know what I mean?
And it's a simple solution to all of it. If you don't want to contract anything, if you don't want to fall into
Abstain.
that situation, just abstinence. Don't do nothing
Yeah.
until you get married. And even, when you're getting married, I know certain states do it, get that blood test, make sure that brother or
Yes.
that sister straight
Yes.
before you walk down that aisle, make sure things are clean,
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know?
you right about that.
Shoot.
You right about that?
Play with that, bro.
Now, man, this is a big one for you right here. This is a big one for some of the fellas out here. One of the big things that a lot of men do is, you're flirting with other women while you're out on a date.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Okay? Now, first of all, that's just straight disrespectful
Yeah,
for real.
disrespectful.
But what you're doing is, if you're checking out other women, in the room while you're out on another date, you pretty much sending a clear signal.
Yeah.
Just don't go.
You know.
Just say, all right, look, this is not working for me. It's not working for me. Can we do dessert first? Let's just do
Yeah.
dessert first on the date, and then we can just say deuces.
Right.
Because if it's not working, it's just not working. But don't disrespect the lady that you with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or the dude that you with. Either way, don't do that.
Right.
That's just disrespectful.
And a lot of that too is, people going out on dates, talking to new people, meeting new people, and things of that nature. But you got to get into somebody's, psyche. You know what I'm saying? Have a conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It should be more than just about, a physical attraction or something like that. Because if you got more than that going on, you're not going to have a situation like that while you're out, because you're going to be more engaged in what that individual is actually talking about and being about them.
Yes.
Right.
Per se, to where, even if somebody else that is nice looking crosses your path or something like that, you're not going to be as easily distracted.
Right.
By something like that.
And don't get it twisted. Women ain't dumb.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, no.
They know
no.
whether you're flirting or not. And sometimes as men, a man can flirt so much till it's just second nature.
Right.
To where he out with a woman, he don't even realize he's doing it because he does it all the time.
Right.
So now you out on a date with a nice young lady and you're flirting and she's sitting there like, this dude ain't even paying attention to me.
Right.
He didn't even hold a conversation because he keep looking in back at him at this chick back there or this chick
and
on
the one
side.
in front of you might be that blessing that you was waiting on.
There it is right there.
But what do you do when you out with somebody and the waitress is flirting with you?
Wow.
And y'all cross from each other. How you deal with that? Because the dude is like, she flirting with me. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
So how you gonna deal with that?
It's the onus is still on him. He's to still put her in check. He's tell the waitress, say, "Hey, look here. You see, I'm out with somebody, okay?
Right.
You need to chill all that,
Exactly.
or either look. Can I see the manager?
Right.
Can you get me somebody else to wait on me?
Now I've been in a situation like that.
Points.
You got that,
But
Yes!
you can also engage, your date and and infuse her into that situation.
Right,
that's
how you get away with
Where
it.
you're both actually making a jovial type situation with that waitress or waiter or whoever's actually doing that flirting, so that you're both incorporated, and that way they know, look, you ain't got no haps here. We'll have some fun with you, because we out to have a good time.
Exactly.
I'm not necessarily gonna call somebody's manager because I think somebody might be flirting with me.
it
In
could be
front
just
of
misunderstood.
because some people are just like that, and like you said a minute ago, some people don't realize that they're flirting because they do it so much.
That is true.
That's true.
So sometimes you gotta do it, man. I think brothers get caught up in that flirting thing a lot, and I think sometimes they don't have an idea of what they really want.
Right.
Because if I'm asking this female out, I've already decided that that's what I want. I'm out here to see what she about. I don't have time to be double-minded checking out the waitress.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I got to be focused on you.
Yeah.
So, brothers, when y'all get out there with them sisters, man, stay focused on your game.
Keep your eye on the prize, brother. Keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, here's another one for you. All right, this is a pet peeve of mine. Forgetting your manners or just being plain old rude. You know what I'm saying? I think we talked about one thing before, burping out loud. You don't have to open up your mouth to burp or belch. Some of y'all just bringing it from the gut and it's just coming out. Women doing it.
Like they just finished the 40.
Right, you know what I'm saying? That's just rude right there. Or even gas. Look, get up and go to the bathroom. Okay, don't just do that at the table or just do that out in public stuff. And I know women who used to do stuff like that.
I got an aunt that did it.
You got a what?
I had an aunt. She don't care. She'll burp. She'll throw her leg up, whatever.
Right.
And then got this little laugh that she'll just break out and start laughing.
And laugh. Right.
It started being funny to me though. I ain't gonna lie. I started laughing at my aunt. I started laughing. I look at her, just shake my head like Then I start laughing because that was just her.
Right. And then I don't like the loud talking women. If we out at the restaurant someplace and you talking loud and laughing loud and bringing attention.
Don't make a scene. Don't make a scene.
You're making a scene and stuff like that. I went out with this girl one time, man, and you talking about manners. And she was a nice young lady, but I wasn't a drinker or anything like that, but she was drinking, she. I soon found out.
Right.
She like to get it in.
She got it in. She got a little twisted. We ride in the car going back, and she threw up.
Oh.
Threw up. No, I stopped the car because she said something's happening. I stopped. I said, roll out the window. Roll down, open up the door. Stick your head over. I'm not in my car. But that was the end of that. That was just like, it was like a turn off for me.
Sexy.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with it. So women, watch your manners and things like that when you're going out, because even if a man, he may not be all that mannerable, but he's looking for you to help him.
You ever go out with someone and everything's going good, and let's just say while you on the date, the bread don't come back as fast as it's supposed to come back.
Right.
And she's about to get an attitude.
Oh my God!
Because the bread ain't
come back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get her straight when she come back. You know,
Yeah.
like, what? Really?
Yeah.
And then she ordered the food, and the food didn't come quite as fast.
Right.
You know, and her water glass is low.
Relax.
And she all upset because her
Just
water
relax.
glass is low.
Relax.
You know,
this is not a fast food
we
establishment.
just trying to enjoy ourselves.
Right.
But you know, they mad because the water didn't get filled up. You know, and
But
then
you know
at the end
what?
of-
That's
wait.
somebody that's not used to going out somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
they used to going to McDonald's,
Right.
You know, or somewhere where the
Burger
service is
King.
bad or
Yeah.
everything's supposed to be quick.
Yeah.
But if you're going out to really enjoy yourself,
Yeah.
you know, have a nice dinner or something like that. Okay, the bread didn't come right away.
Right.
Even if something's missing or the waiter drops the ball or something like that, unless it's something major,
Right.
You know, just let it pass. Enjoy the company of who you with.
That is right there.
That's what you really need to
Because
focus
what
on.
that tells me,
You about
what
to hear
that
it?
tells
What
me,
does that tell you,
What does
Bobby?
it tell you, Bobby? Because
it tells me that she's not ready for prime time.
There
She's
it
not
is.
ready for
She's not ready
prime
for prime
time.
there it is right there.
See, she's still on the McDonald's, Burger King,
Yeah.
Golden Corral.
Y'all
circuit.
getting this?
She not ready for the other circuit.
Right.
This
You know
is
what I mean?
commandment number what from Moses?
You know what I mean?
He's giving it to you right
And I
now.
think that's a sign. And you get a female like that, I tell you something. If they will go off on something that small, they gonna really go off when real life start to happen.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not go off.
Right.
It shows you at that point where that female is, and it gives you a clear signal, that you need to ask yourself, do I need to venture off into this? Do I need to cut this date off? Is this
Exactly.
it? Because if she can't handle this little thing right here, like you said,
Exactly.
I don't know what's going to
Exactly.
happen in real life
Exactly.
situations,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not good with somebody that gets rattled too easily. I'm
Nah.
not good with
Yeah,
that
you
at
can't
all.
do that. You gotta do it a little better than that.
Because things happen.
Right. Stuff happens.
Things happen.
It's going to go off all the time.
All right, man, here's another big one for you. Talking too much and listening too little.
Ouch.
Talking
Wow.
too much and
And
listening
you never
too little.
shut up.
And I
talk too
and I
much.
tell you what, most women are looking for somebody to listen. I often think that if we would listen, we would know that they disqualified before we get in the game.
Right.
Oh, hello? Hello, I need you to say that one more
I
time.
think if we would spend a little time listening better,
And for my Ebonics folks, say that one more again. One more again.
if we spent more time listening better, we would know that they would be disqualified.
Right. All
We
right.
would know that. Because, see, you can listen to women. If you start listening to them, you can hear all their issues. Just let them talk for a minute.
Let 'em talk.
Because in a minute, guess what they're going to go to?
Where they going?
They're going to go right to the kind of men they've been with. They're going to talk about how them men hurt them.
Yeah.
They're going to talk about the struggle they've been going through.
Right.
And how, they're going to let you know their whole life in a minute.
Yeah.
So just hold on, bro.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Just listen.
You know what I mean? And then they're going to tell you in a minute, especially if they think you worth keeping.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they gonna tell you, they gonna just go right to the pain. Because most of them are so excited to be out on this date
Right.
that they're like, oh, and he gonna pay too? So they really trying to make sure that their game is straight. So
Right,
they gonna
right,
give you like their whole life story.
Right.
So you guys gotta listen.
Yeah, that's that, and unfortunately with men, that's one of our things. Especially if
yeah.
you're going on that date for a specific reason,
Right.
You're not going to listen. Oh,
Yeah.
that was nice. Oh, you didn't pay attention.
What kind of reason you talking about?
Because you want that.
Yeah, you want that.
You want it.
Yeah.
The stuff.
And most of them are going out for that reason. And,
The stuff?
And I tell brothers all the
Wow.
time, start asking open-ended questions. Oh, not them kind of questions.
This sounds
that
like
they can
a
just-
sales call.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean? Because what happens
open-ended
is,
questions.
give them a chance to talk. Give them a chance to talk because they will they'll let you know exactly what's going on with them within 5 minutes.
And that's generally what women want. Women really want us to listen.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
If we can just do that, just listen. Or either just pretend real good like you listening.
Just keep nodding.
It's just
Yeah.
not being
Yeah.
selfish. Don't be so caught up in yourself.
Yeah.
You really should want to know what this woman got on her
Got
mind.
that
Right.
Because if you don't know what's on her mind, then how can you better make a determination for yourself whether to move forward with this woman or not?
Right.
That's true.
Because y'all might be on two different levels. Just because there was some physical attraction there, that doesn't mean that y'all,
Hey.
gonna vibe anywhere else.
Because you gotta listen, man. Because you could be with a stalker.
Right.
You could be with a stalker and you just didn't know it.
She was straight up.
You ain't paying attention.
Straight up serial
You
killer.
ain't listening. You know,
And if you're not sure, look out your window right now, or in your rear view, wherever you do at. If you see something that you've seen before, and you're in a different place, understand you might have a stalker.
you might have a stalker.
Now, ladies, a lot of the men you get, men get you with one of these things right here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are misreading his signals. Stop misreading a man's signals.
Well,
Okay, because what a lot of dudes can do, a lot of cats, you know, whenever they're out, especially if they players or they've been out there in the game for a minute, they can make you think or feel while y'all out whatever they want you to think or feel, and you start to think, oh, okay, he's all about me. You know, I know a few ladies that, you know, were friends, and they, you know, would always go out with people, and as soon as somebody started to pay them a little bit of attention, well, we hanging out every day for the last week or something like that, all of a sudden, this is the one. No, he's not.
That's it.
He's not the one, because the minute that she said, oh, okay, and you know, gave him that good,
The cookie. The cookie.
you know, then he was ghost.
He's gone. Yup.
He was gone.
That's how it happens.
But see, she ain't take time to actually, you know, get to know this brother a little bit and get into his head, because they ain't know. A lot of times you'll know, because that dude's never really going to have any real conversation with you. You know, it's always going to be something very shallow.
Right, real shallow.
You know, something very, you know, much, you know, out on Front Street or whatever. He ain't never really going to get into him or what he's doing, you know, because if he's really trying to see what's up with you, you're going to know something about his dreams, his aspirations, you know, maybe something that he's dealing with or going through. He's going to share on the same level that you're sharing. Right. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So it's a different type of mindset altogether, you know.
It's the same way with the church women out here. Every guy that walk in the church, you know, that you know how they do sometimes. That's my husband right there. You know, God told me that you are gonna be my husband.
You're gonna be my husband.
You know what I'm saying? You know, said that how many men in the church, you know, said this too, and it's like, what is God speaking to you? I mean, God's out there talking to you. What's going on? You know, these men, yours.
And before they got in the church, they said the same thing about Denzel when he was back in Training Day on TV. That's my husband right there. You know,
and all
he don't know you. He don't know you.
Right. He just smile a little bit and say, "How you doing?"
Right.
Or praise the Lord or something. All of a sudden, there he is. I just felt something.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. Yes.
Be careful. You know.
Lord.
Hey, check it out, men. All right, this is one for the men right here, right? All right, men.
This one's for the homies.
Trying to buy her affection is a big mistake, okay? You can't do it. You can't do it. Now, look, I'm not telling you don't buy her nothing, all right? If you go out on a date or something like that, it's okay to bring some flowers out on the date, all right? But
if she like flowers. I know women that don't like flowers.
Right, but don't bring flowers, a tennis bracelet,
right?
You know what I'm saying? A box of chocolate. You got all this stuff on the first date, and you really don't even know her. You know, and a lot of times when you bring all this stuff there, because you
money came by you love.
Yeah, you may got money. If you if you look at it, it's almost like you overcompensating for something.
Right.
You know, so you got some type of insecurity or something. So you feel like you gotta buy her and show her what your bank account look like. So you bring all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad sign right there. You bring a little bit. Don't even let her know what you rolling with. I would drive a hoopty on the date to see if she really liked me for me. Or if she just want to know what type of car I got, you know.
I got you.
Feel me?
Yeah, I got you.
It's like what Eddie Murphy did in Coming to America.
Right.
Remember the writing department he got?
Yeah.
He wanted to know how much money he had. You know, he wasn't the woman that wanted, you know, him for
Where
him.
can we find a good guy?
Right.
But see, usually what happens, you buy all this stuff, right? And she begins to fall off the cliff pretty quickly. Because you start giving her stuff.
Yep.
Well, those are signs of affection, but those are false signs of affection.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then before you know it, you don't about lost your mind.
Yeah.
Because you think, because you spend all this money on her, and then when you call on Friday, she don't call you.
It ain't happening.
You feel me?
Then now you upset.
Now you doing the OJ out in the bushes.
Now sister got a stalker. Brother, tree box.
And then
that's what they call it.
Gave you her work number. You blowing up her work phone.
Right.
You tripping.
Why you ain't called?
Why you ain't called me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it looks real sensitive of a brother
Yeah.
to be up in there.
I'm gonna need you to relax, homeboy.
Yeah, I need you to relax
all
on
right.
that. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be okay.
Because I always think that we should be reciprocal when it comes to giving each other things.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
give
yeah.
you something, you might give me something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we gonna stay on the one thing till we can reciprocate.
And again, that's all about learning that individual, because
Right, you
to
know.
some people you can give them everything in the world,
Right.
but gifts don't mean nothing to
Don't
them.
mean
Right.
nothing to them.
They might just want some time.
They want
Right.
time.
Somebody else might want you washing the car.
Right.
Right.
You know, fixing some stuff around the house.
Now, usually, if they want me to start washing cars and fixing something around the house, I'm puffing smoke on them jokers.
You puffing some smoke.
Yeah, I'm out.
Okay.
I'm leaving. I'm
All
not
right.
doing no house cleaning and all that.
Oh, this on a date.
Yeah,
A date.
you
Okay.
can come up and wash my car for me. Oh no, I don't
Yeah,
do
no,
that.
I'm
I don't
talking
do
about
that.
once you get in. I ain't
Oh,
talking
oh,
about like
okay.
the
I was
first
gonna say,
date. You
I'm not
going
doing
over
that.
there,
I'm not doing
you
that.
know, trimming hedges. I ain't
Right,
talking
I'm
about
not
that.
doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not
Bobby. I
doing
ain't,
that.
yeah.
Hey, but I know people that do things like that.
Yeah,
Next
that's
thing
true.
I know, she got him taking her car to the car wash to get it washed.
Right.
It cost $15. He paid the $15 and bring it
Right.
back.
Right.
And now he ain't, and the good is still
Yeah.
ain't even in the equation.
Wow.
But most of the cats that's doing that, most of them look like Professor Clump. Anyway,
Right.
you know,
It's not right, Chad.
You know,
That is true.
they got the dirty nails because they've been
That
working
is
on the
true.
hood of a
That is
vehicle. You know, you don't like to go to the shop when they're working
That
on
is
your
true.
car because they look real nasty. You know, you got to
is
see,
true.
you know, crack.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you like, just call me when it's done and you done pull it out.
Let me
But,
ask you a question. Let me ask you this question. Let's say female X, she drives a hoopty,
okay.
right? But the dude that she is interested in or has shown a little interest in her, he drives a 745i.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
And she one day gets in the 745i. Man, she ain't thinking that this is not the one. I mean, real talk. She is not
Real talk
thinking
then, Bobby.
Talk.
this is
Get it
not
out.
the one. She thinking, I got one right here.
Right, right.
And but what she doesn't understand is that she has been introduced to the game.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
She don't understand that.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, he gonna hit her with a little list.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he got his hands in the cookie jar.
That's the job.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So how they gonna deal with that? How does the female that's in the 745i, how does she know that she not getting played? Oh no, I'm just asking the question.
Ooh.
How does she know?
I think you know.
Come on, big time.
No, I think you know.
I don't know. All right.
You said it, I think you know.
How does she know that she not getting played?
Again, she should do her due
Because
diligence.
she's itching to see the thread count.
Yeah, but the vehicle that brother has means nothing, and if that's what she's caught up in, then she's asking for what she's gonna get.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
If that's what she's caught up, and just because he pulled up in a nice ride, it's like, oh, I gotta talk to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you go looking for that type of cat, that's what you're gonna get, because he may not have anything, you know, of substance to him.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So you might be setting yourself up for a fall right off the break.
And
real.
even if she is excited about his car and all that type of stuff, if she gets in the car, don't even say nothing. Don't even compliment the car. Just say, thank you for picking me up.
Yeah, don't act like you ain't never been in one before.
What movie we going to see?
That's a
You know,
mistake.
That's
Exactly.
it. You know,
Exactly.
Don't even take it that far. Like, oh my God. Then when you get back with your girlfriends, oh my God, girl, he got an iPhone 796.
Yeah, right.
That's when you go off. You know?
Right.
But don't do it.
And
in
if
front
he
of your
start
brother.
talking about it, you know, that's another sign too.
Bam,
If a brother got to start
Right there.
boasting and bragging and pointing out a bunch of stuff, you know.
See, I think a real brother.
What's
that's
a real brother?
A real
Talk
brother
to us.
that is sincere and keeping it 100. It's not about him talking about himself.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
Because if we gonna move this relationship forward further, you're gonna learn about me as this relationship goes.
You gonna learn the date.
right? But if he start, like you said, if he keeps on talking about what he got, he is trying to bewitch you, bamboozle you,
Right.
Hoodwink
you,
Lead
right?
you astray.
Lead you astray
Run
to
amok.
get to what he wants to get to. So remember that, sisters. That brother that's giving you too much information up front, all he doing is about to bamboozle
Not
you.
the bamboozle. You.
About to bamboozle
His
you.
own. His own.
Pump
His
the
own.
brakes a
His
little
own.
bit. Just
His
pump the
own.
brakes a little
Pump
bit.
the brakes a
But you
little
know, if you know yourself, if you true to yourself, as a man or as a woman, and you know what you want
Right.
in life and out of a mate. Those, you know what I'm saying? There's certain characteristics, certain things that you should know about yourself that you want to look for in a mate. You know, and you should know what you're going to tolerate, what's negotiable, what's non-negotiable, where your hard line is, too, you know, going into that right off the cuff.
Yeah, right. Another one the ladies do, another mistake is believing in the one. Believing in the one. A lot of women making dating mistakes by placing so much pressure on themselves, right? That this is the one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This dude right here, this is it. This is it. And then they can't recover.
Right.
Guess what they've done now? They bought in.
Yeah.
100% off the brick.
Right.
Well, see, most of them, I think most of them, whenever that happens, they've decided before they ever met that guy that the next one was going to be the one.
Oh, yeah. Or
You know, this is
what
it,
about their
right?
ex? Like they had a little ex, but they can't get away from the ex because he the one. But he the ex for a reason. But no, no, he the one because he loved me.
Yeah,
he was with me when I first had my first bad ankle. I broke my ankle. He carried me.
I feel a certain way about that one because I see where you're coming from on that, Bob. I said, but situation where certain people have parted ways for whatever reason, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were supposed to part. They just weren't for each other at that time.
That's right.
You know, and maybe they had to go their separate ways, so God could work on them a little bit. They could work on themselves, you know, so that they could come back, you know, true to who they are for one, and be able to make that situation work.
Here's the deal though. I see women that can't move on though, just because that dude made you laugh a certain way, made your heart flutter a certain way. Why they always trying to recapture that when that has already moved on? You see what I mean? They so focused on this dude because they want to relive the first time they saw each other. They want to feel that first laugh again. They want to feel when you had that first kiss and your heart flutter differently. They want to feel that again. So much so that they can't move on from that one dude.
And when you talk about moving on, I think it depends on the situation of or what happened in the breakup. Because if you was in a situation with a dude and you was in love with him and he started putting his hands on you and knock you inside your head and put you in the hospital.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap, done. Get out of the situation. And some women, I still love him. But you need to get out of that situation. Now there have been situations where there were two individuals who were in love, but it just wasn't the right time. Like Chad was saying, wasn't the right time. They had to split up because different circumstances or whatever. But it wasn't necessarily a bitter breakup. But then they found each other eventually, you know, and that thing rekindled. Now sometimes it could just be a situation where it's meant to be, you know. Now the numbers are not that great, or the percentages are not that great. People breaking up and coming back together again like that. You know,
I mean, I know of people that broke up, were apart for maybe. I know one situation that was apart for 8 years. Another situation they were apart for like 16 years. Ooh. Got back together.
But they dated in between. Right?
No, they did not. Wow. They were in other relationships. One of them went and got married.
Okay. Wow.
And then they got divorced, and then they came back. Ended up coming back together. And they've been together ever since for years after that. But so they were kind of meant to be together.
Yeah, that's true.
Or whatever. But they just weren't meant at that time. Yeah, that's true. And everything happens in this time.
That's a lifetime movie.
But what about the people that get stuck? See, people get stuck. I find a lot of females that are stuck because they keep trying to recreate what they had with this dude with this other dude, and you can't.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't create with another dude.
That.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to push the pass button and say, move on.
And it might mean you're going to take an L on some of the things that you got in that last relationship.
Yeah, take an L. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You know,
because...
But you should be trying to come up.
That's what I say. Come up.
If you got to go, if you're moving on, you should be coming up. You shouldn't be taking the deck down. And taking less than what you already had.
I remember I dated somebody, and we dated for like a couple years. And a couple years went by, and I was dating other people. But in the back of my mind, right, I was always hoping that one day this chick will come back my direction, right? Guess what? She came back my direction.
Don't you love when that happens?
Man, they had that funny feeling.
You get butterflies on the inside.
But what happened was I had spent 2 years waiting on her to come back.
Wow.
But when she came back, first couple months was great. It was beautiful. About that third, fourth month, I saw
the devil came out.
You're right. The real reason why I left that person,
right?
I saw a twinkle of it again after about 3 months.
Okay.
And then I had wasted my time.
Yeah.
I was 2 years wasted, hoping in the back of my mind they come along.
Okay.
Wow.
When I really wasn't putting in the energy in these other relationships.
Wow.
Because I was really hoping that she would come back. And then when she came back, I was falling. I was off the cliff. So, man, you know how you pray and
fast? But you was hoping she came back, right?
Hey, now, Eric, I'm going to tell you. You're talking about fasting and praying and fasting and claiming and believing at the altar, putting hands on me. I'm speaking in other tongues. Saying, speak those things which are and not as though they are. I had it all down. I had it written on a face card. I had it all around my desk.
You wrote it and put it in your Bible.
Write the vision and make it play.
That sounds pretty serious, Bob.
I'm playing, man. I was messed up. And see, and I wasted my life.
Yeah.
I wasted 2 years of my life thinking what? She was the one.
Yeah.
She the one. That's the one right there.
I did the same thing.
You did it too? See, most men ain't man enough to say that.
Yeah.
See, most men.
Hey, give me 1 minute on this, man.
I'll take you there.
This chick, I was in love with her. You know,
right.
She was the one. You hear me?
I hear you.
She was the one.
Okay.
She sat next to Jesus. Okay. She was
next.
The most beautiful thing that ever walked the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
And I dated her. Now I messed up. I didn't mess around on her, but
that's like.
I went to college or something like that, and she went to college, and we sort of separated. And I stopped writing her. That was an idiot move of me. You know, I stopped doing it.
Right.
You know, and I found her again. You know, we dated a little bit, but she was dating somebody. You know, I want her back so bad. I was so torn up. You know what I'm saying? But in my almost my entire life at that time, Bobby, all I thought about was this girl.
Right.
All I envisioned was her coming to me, us fighting each other. I started dreaming about it.
Lord have mercy.
It was terrible. I had dreams and everything.
Wow.
I finally found her, right?
Did you?
Through much research, I finally found her. I called her. No, hold on. Let me retract. I was too scared to call her.
Okay.
I didn't call her. I had one of my co-workers call her.
Okay.
I said, I need you to call her for me. I just need to, see if she remembered me. She didn't even remember me. She didn't even remember me. Now you know,
I am in love with her like that.
God, it's okay.
But for her not to remember you and you went through all that.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I was depressed for a while, right?
I
was like, what?
I understand.
I was like, all that we've been through, it was all that I've been through.
Right, all that I've been through, right.
Yeah. Because she wasn't thinking about you while you was with her. Really.
Right.
And she didn't remember you.
I know the feeling, brother. I know the feeling.
I don't know that feeling.
And because, see, most brothers are not, gonna own up to that one.
Nah, I ain't gonna own up to that.
They ain't gonna own up to that one because they think that make them feel soft or something.
I'm sorry for you, though.
Most cats don't own up to that one, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So for the most part, the point is you got to move on, and you got to. I was trying to get her out of my head.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But I had to,
what it is.
It is what it is, and I had to move on.
Right.
Now, man, here's another big mistake for you is not getting help. And I know you may not know where I'm coming from when I say not getting some help, but it's okay. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to learn as much as you can about a woman.
Right.
On every level.
Yeah.
So that you will be able to better relate to her and understand what her wants, needs, and concerns are. Just women in general. First of all, pick up a book, a pamphlet, check out some things, listen to women in general whenever they're talking, and absorb what it is that they're saying so that you know where they're coming from.
Right.
Let alone that way, whenever you do start to talk to that one individual that you have some interest in, you'll be able to relate to what it is that they're saying.
Right.
It's not all about, the brother whenever he's out there. He better get some knowledge. I don't care what it is.
Right. And you're never going to learn everything about a woman. Don't even try to learn because you're not. You will never be able to accomplish that. Women are too complex species, okay? Too complex.
Beautiful creatures, though.
They're beautiful, though. Yes, they are. Say it again, Chad.
Beautiful creatures.
What's interesting about this, and this is a good point, Chad.
I'd like to send a shout out to Jesus for women, creating women from our rib.
My pops used to tell me, my grandfather used to say something to me. He used to say, son, when you talk to a woman, always talk to a woman softly. Never talk to a woman roughly.
Right, right.
And I used to wonder, like, what you talking about? Because if she getting on my nerves, she about to get the rough talk. Right? But I didn't understand that lesson until I got married. I didn't learn it when I was with girls out in the street. I didn't understand it until I got married. Because what I found was that the woman, her intent is not to come at me hard.
Right.
Her intent is to be that nurturing person. So it kept me on an even keel when I learned to talk to my lady with the right kind of tone.
That's right.
But if Pops would have never told me that, you know what I mean? So I don't be trying to go off and just screaming and going crazy. Because you can't just keep going crazy.
Can't do it.
You got to learn to talk to your lady with your normal voice.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's important on the man side and on the female side, because a woman can't talk to a man any kind of way.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Oh my God.
A woman cannot just talk to a man any kind of way.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you this right here, you know, now this goes across all races, colors, and creeds, but I can definitely tell you that, you know, it is not good for a woman to be sitting up basing at a brother.
Not at all.
That's
you know, because not that all men may not go through something, but brothers deal with a lot in America.
Right.
You know, on the day-to-day where they have to take the burden and the brunt from whether it be employers, you know, from Mr. Charlie out here, Miss Charlie, whoever, you know, and they're always having to suppress.
Right.
You know, who they are sometimes as men just to maintain their job or deal with things.
Right.
You know, and then go through life getting beat down on every level. The last thing they need is for that woman that they're dealing with to be barking at. Because you're going to get the same thing across. Matter of fact, he's probably going to hear you better.
Yeah.
If you're talking to him in this tone right here, look, honey, this is what's going on, blah, blah, and just stay very monotone with it.
Right.
You can get the same thing going on.
Right.
Women got power. They got power. You can just about get a man to do anything you want to just by talking to him the right way. And it's just like you said, sweetie, I think you forgot to take the garbage out. Can you just remember to get it? Instead of, you forgot to take the garbage out again?
Oh, yeah.
What's wrong with you? How come you forgetting stuff all the time?
Oh, yeah. We about to have garbage all over the house.
Right. I'm about to just take the trash bag and just shake it in every room.
Yeah.
How you like that? You like that? You like that?
You like this better, don't you? This to me you won't.
This the fish from the bones from dinner last night.
And you know, and you definitely right. And I was in a meeting last week, and I was talking at the table. It was one of those leadership meetings, and the lady was Arab. One lady was at the table was Arab, and the other lady was Hispanic. And we were talking about black women in leadership. And one of the things they said about black women was that black women get angry faster than any women they've ever seen in the workplace. And I was thinking about that, like, you know, I think black women might get angry faster than any women in the workplace. Yeah. Because I've seen white women angry, and they go talk to their supervisors. Right. And they go talk to their upper echelon people, or they may go over to the equal opportunity people and talk to them. Right. But I see black women get angry at work. They got to tell their friend. Yeah. Their friend got to tell their friend. And before you know it, it's all over the job. Gossip. Right. Yeah. You know, because
and nothing was accomplished.
Yeah, nothing's accomplished. Right. You know, and I'm
but
like,
you're a troublemaker now.
And then that same sister probably that same sister tells, when she gets into it with her husband or her man, she tells her friend, right? And then it becomes problems with her and her friend.
Had to tell Sharon, and she told Carol, and the story rolled on just like a wheelbarrow. Carol told Dee Dee, and she told Pam, and Pebbles overheard her talking to her man.
Right.
Pebbles told Dee Dee what she thought she heard, and somehow, what?
That's right. You know, so I think black women have to get some help. You know, if they easily angered, easily frustrated, easily made angry, then deal with that. Read some books. Just like brothers got to read some books on how to deal with you. You should read some books on how to deal with your man.
Right.
And if you don't read any books, just tune in to the show.
Come on now.
Wait a minute. Don't
just talk a little softly.
Because there's a lot of women I know that tune into our show, but don't take what they hear from our show.
Say that one more time.
I know a lot of women that tune into our show, but don't take what they hear from our show.
Take it and learn.
You see what I'm saying?
Did y'all hear that? That was because the Black Moses speaking at OTC University.
And I'll give you an example. We've had several people talking to us about 5-year relationships.
Right.
And they still staying in them 5-year relationships.
Right.
And he ain't put a ring on it, a name on it, a tattoo, or nothing. And you still staying?
Well, you heard it.
Well, I think we are ready to talk about it.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's another one here. Ladies, this is a big one for you too. Being too available. I know you're like, what is he talking about? It's like this. You waiting by the phone. You waiting for him to call you. It's like you ain't got nothing else to do. No other type of life. You don't have no friends. You don't have nothing.
First ring,
you just sit right. The first ring, you pick it up. He's like, Dad, did it ring?
Did the phone ring?
Hello.
You blowing his phone up, all the time.
Hello.
Get your own life. A man likes it when you have your own life. Okay. I couldn't be with a woman who was not busy. I dated a woman one time who wasn't busy. I'm into acting, I'm into singing, I'm into doing different things. And she wasn't into those things. So it was like, if I'm out doing these things, it's like, you never spend time with me. I ain't never seen you. And you like,
and it causes an issue,
yeah, it becomes an issue. Now it's like, I'm lonely, I'm this. I'm like,
his mouth was looking funny, right?
His mouth was ugly.
Like he had coke on his tongue or something.
I'm like,
look like Gator from Jungle Fever.
Shut up, Chad. Get you a life, outside of that man. So when he's doing something, you're doing something too. Get you some girlfriends. Go out with your girl sometime. You gotta stay up under the man all the time.
You know what's funny? You give her your number to hit you back, because you tell her I'm gonna hit you back. Right? You leave her. You get to the car. She calls you.
She called you.
So as soon as you get to the car,
that's way thirsty, right there.
As soon as you get to the car.
See,
and then talk to you to your entire destination, and while you at your destination, calls you again.
Yeah, come on now.
And before you leave your destination, calls you again.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You ain't see me calling?
That's a start.
You ain't see me calling though. You ain't see me calling.
You ain't calling.
No, you ain't see me calling.
No.
I know you was where you say you was at. You ain't see me calling.
That's real problem.
Right? And then you get up in the morning, you pick your phone up, you got a good morning text. I ain't even, that's real thirsty. That's real thirsty.
I'm okay with the good morning text.
But not if they done called you all night.
Now, if they called you all night, well, they're sleeping.
They called you in the car. They called you when you got to the car. They called you before you went to bed.
Right.
Yeah. And they text you good morning in the morning.
Right.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
And you got to know who you're dealing with too, because
sometimes you got to remember, men are hunters. All right. I mean, I don't.
That's key.
Y'all don't know that, but men are hunters.
We hunters.
Women are the prey.
That's right.
That's being hunted. Mm-hmm. I don't like to be chased by what I'm hunting.
Ooh.
I don't like to be chased by what I go to hunt. Because guess what? If I go hunting and you start chasing me, I don't want it. Too big for me. No, you keep that.
Shabuda!
You feel me? So remember that. Men are hunters and they want to hunt. But if you are an easy catch,
right,
he's not going to keep hunting for you.
Yeah, he's not going to keep hunting.
He's not going to be satisfied with you. He's going to let you run.
Yeah.
He's going to let you run on.
He might want you to run.
He's going to let you run on. He's going to let you run on.
Play games if you want to.
He's going to let you run on.
We got a mailbox question.
Bobby going to have some of y'all single.
Some of them need to stay single.
What's
I ain't lying.
The mailbox.
The mailbox question. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What is this? This is kind of long. All right, y'all get ready. Hope you got your popcorn ready. I've been in a committed relationship with a woman for the past 12 years. I was previously engaged, but it ended horribly and left a nasty taste in my mouth. You should brush your teeth. The woman I'm currently in a relationship with has a parent who has been married and divorced 3 times.
Wow.
Now, that both of us have agreed that we like our current situation and do not plan on getting married. Do you think that our society today is heading more towards this trend? I.e., Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, they got their 30-year thing, some kids, Ray Allen, was with his lady about 13 years before he married her recently. Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, all that kind of stuff. So, the question is society trending in this manner to where we just have long-term relationships as opposed to, committed relationships as far as legally committed, as far as marriage and things of that nature?
Yeah, it looks like people are going that route, especially if they're looking at the divorce rate, 50% of divorce rate.
Yeah.
And in their mind, they're saying that what's the use of getting married?
Yeah.
And I've known people who, and it's crazy, it's real crazy, but who have been engaged like for 10, 12, 13 years, and then they get married and then they divorce.
And they divorce in a year.
And I'm like, I'm not understanding, but it seems like society is going towards that way. I don't know if it has something to do with the economy as well. People who are dating just moving in before they get married. They move in to share bills, but yet they don't have enough money for the wedding or something like that. I don't know, but I just know I didn't do that,
Well, here's the deal. You spend 10, 12 years with somebody, and I would be making sure that I'm in the will.
Something.
Because if he died, you just dead and gone.
And most states, that's common law anyway, unless you cross 10.
Some states, it's not a lot of states that's common law.
It's about 11 states that's common law.
Common law,
So you technically can spend your life with a person, and that person die, and then guess what? It's over. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, their money going to their oldest kid, and the assets are all gone to
homeless,
state, or whatever. So I don't think that's a good look. I wouldn't. I mean, I see the trend, but I don't think it's a good look.
You get nothing out of the deal.
Yeah, you get nothing out of it.
No benefits, no Social Security.
I mean, that Kurt Russell Goldie Hawn, 30 years is a long time.
That's a long.
But it's working for him. Right. So I don't know what I can say. It's working for them, and I would imagine in their situation, being Hollywood types and everything, that they got their finances in order on both sides of the coin.
But normal middle income folks, we ain't talking about
the people Obama trying to help, the middle class.
Yeah, the middle class folks. What if you did that with a military dude?
Brock!
And then you get no retirement. Right, you don't get part of that retirement.
You don't get nothing.
You don't get any, like, if he died, you don't get no survivor benefits.
Right.
You sure don't get no TRICARE.
Right.
You don't get no no help with your hospital stuff. So I don't understand why why that trend would continue.
Right.
I think it is because of fear.
Yeah.
Fear of commitment. Because people know that you go further when you get married.
Right.
These two people are living together. It's not as committed.
That's a good point. Right
as the marriage is.
Good point.
Yeah.
And so there's some fear in there that they are living with, and you can get comfortable living with fear, and just decide, well, we're not going to do this because
I think you relax too, and your trust level goes to another level too.
Yeah.
Once you get married.
Once you get married, then
because you kind of feel like, okay, you kind of, I know pretty much you got to be here unless you got some flighty person,
right?
That's ready to run at every occasion or something like that. Because loyalty is key when especially at that time too.
I would hate to spend that much energy and time on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
12 years, man.
That's a long time.
12 years in a black family, you got about 4 kids. That had to be a white man sending us that question.
So don't spend 12 years.
Because if you in a relationship with a black woman for 12 years, you got at least 2 baby kids.
At least 2 of them.
At least 2 baby kids, because ain't nothing coming off for 12 years. Somebody gonna forget to take a pill. Somebody gonna forget to wrap it up. I'm just saying.
Ski.
12 years is a long time.
So in other words, if you're gonna do something 12, make it 12 play. That's all I'm saying. R. Kelly said 12 play.
He said 12 play.
12 play.
12 play.
If you know what I'm saying.
That is a long time, though. For real.
Everybody.
That is a long time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what time it is, fellas.
What time is it?
Contest time.
It's contest time? Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we had so much more to say, though.
I know we did. We'll save it for another show. Save it for another show. Not part 3. But another show. Before we choose our winner for this week, Eric is going to tell you about the new contest. Right? He's going to tell you about the new contest. Holla at him, boy.
Okay, check it out, right? We got a new contest in place, and this contest is hot, so listen up. You must be a follower of the show to qualify for this contest. Go to www.spreaker.com, sign up with your email address, type in Off the Cuff in the search box, and then click on the follow button, and that will make you a part of the OTC University family. Don't forget to do that. It's important now. We will be choosing a winner each week, and that winner will be put in a drawing to win up to $50 Visa gift card. Now, if we call your name as one of the weekly winners, you have a week from the date we call your name to respond. If we do not hear from you within the week, you forfeit your eligibility to win the $50 Visa gift card, but you still qualify now for the grand prize drawing. We will be choosing the winners of the $50 Visa gift card every first Sunday of the month. But hold on one second. I said hold on.
I said hold on.
There's even even more to this contest. And Chad, little Chad that is going to tell you about the big surprise we got coming up. Take it away, little Chad.
I got a real big surprise for you over here, and what we're going to talk about is every 3 months, all of the Visa gift card winners will be put into a drawing to have the opportunity to become a guest host on the show with the men of Off the Cuff.
Okay.
All right, now that's hot. Now look, y'all know how we roll, and we keep it 100 up in this piece.
Right,
so if you're
right.
chosen to be a guest host, be ready to keep it off the cuff. All right, now that's real right there. Now our first grand prize winner will be chosen on November 4th. Yeah, that's right around the election, and I just want to plug that. Y'all make sure you get your vote on,
Please
get out there, get
in.
registered and everything. Register to vote.org. Check it out. You need at least 30 days. Make sure you get on sooner than later. Now, like I said, the grand prize winner is going to be chosen November 4th, so make sure you get registered now if you want to be a part of what it is that we do. Now, past winners from the last contest that claim their prizes will be included in this drawing.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Okay?
All right, we got a winner.
Let's get ready for the winner. We got a winner.
We got a winner from Bruce
She gave us her stage name, Miss Quiet Storm.
Quiet Storm.
Miss Quiet Storm is what we got. That's
All right.
what we got.
It's Quiet Storm.
Yeah, so Miss Quiet
Miss
Storm,
Quiet
holler at
Storm.
your voice.
Sound like the late night boogie.
Where you at, make sure you hit us up, Quiet Storm. Alright? Make sure you hit us up. Alright? We hope the information we shared with you tonight will help make the dating game a whole lot easier for you to understand and help. Whole lot easier for you to understand. Alright?
It's that tie choking him.
That tie, that knot.
That tie he got around his shoulders because his neck missing.
Y'all got jokes, right?
And got his tie on his chin.
I'm gonna start this over.
Head and
okay?
shoulders.
Yeah, you should.
I'm gonna start this over. But I know you're not talking. I know you're not.
He was teasing me.
You stupid. Hey, we hope the information we shared with you tonight will help make the dating game a whole lot easier for you to understand and help you achieve the best results in your relationship.
Good read.
Good luck, y'all. And let us know about your success. All right? The information, the education you receive at the OTC University.
Yeah. So, fellas, see you back here next week.
Same place, same time.
Where we keeps it real.
Yeah.
God loves it. And we
All right.
Teasing me.
You went up in there well.
I'm like, grandma.
Yeah,
Listen to me.
you was stuck.
It's off the cuff, 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 yeah. It's off the cuff, it's off the cuff, it's off the cuff, it's off the cuff,
This is
yeah.
God ordained. Get in position, cause we on a mission, fulfilling this vision, releasing contention in this God we praise. The one who keeps us from falling, receiving this faultless. Who that man is awesome. You see, it's every day we celebrate. Right now it's time for us to elevate. So get your hands up, cause Hosanna is great. And see, they call it off the cuff because we tailor-made.
Off the cuff, yeah. Off the cuff, yeah.
This has been an IBG production.